was true. I got older. I took a good look at myself. I got older. And put the bottle back on the shelf. I got older. I put away those childish things. I got older. Well, I got a little older.
Just across the Mississippi River from St. Louis, Missouri, is Madison, Illinois, home of the Gateway Motorsports Park. Tonight, we have round 11 of the SimPossible MS Ford Truck Series here from this very tricky egg-shaped track. I am Peter Short here on 3Y TV, and joining me again tonight is Cameron Rich. Cameron, this is a very, very tricky track. We might see some shifting tonight. What do you expect to see?
Absolutely, Peter. This track is very unique in the fact that it is technically a speedway at over 1 mile, I think 1.25 actually, but it races nothing like the speedways we know of, like, you know, your 1.5 mile cookie cutter tracks like that. This track is very flat. It's an egg-shaped oval, but it's not like the other one we go to in Darlington Raceway. Very, very different. Very flat, and I think we will see a really good race tonight.
Yeah, this track is one of the most treacherous tracks that these guys will see all year, mostly because turns 1 and 2 are very different from 3 and 4. Here you see AJ Digby going through turns 1 and 2. You have a lot of momentum carried out of turn number 3 and 4. Very flat in 1 and 2. You have to get hard on the brakes, but then there's something down on the inside of the track that can catch you out very quickly. You'll see there are rumble strips down there, and if you hit those, it can greatly upset your truck.
Oh yes, those rumble strips have ended many days for races in my experience. So it's going to be important to keep off them as much as possible. But the lines you run at this track are very, very unique. 1 and 2, even though it is tighter, you tend to run a higher line, as we see here on the screen right now. These trucks you can run all over the track, but 1 and 2 is very high line biased.
Yeah, turns 3 and 4, however, very different. You'll see Chris Roberge here as he's past AJ Digby. He tries to run right down there on the white line because it seems like iRacing has some grip down there, and you're kind of searching for that grip right down there on the bottom through 3 and 4 all night long. It's hard to go too wide through 3 and 4. And if you kind of get to the inside through 3 and 4, you usually end up making the pass. So I'm sure we'll see that used quite a bit tonight. Well, one storyline we have coming into tonight is the points battle. Tanner Sharp, of course, not showing up to last week's race. David Wilson now tied for the points lead. Cameron, what do you expect to see out of those two drivers tonight? I'm sure they're just chomping at the bit to get started.
Well, Peter, I think they've been the dominant drivers all season, so I think they will be up front tonight. It is quite interesting, though. Our last 2 short track races have been dominated by the Rebel trucks of Sharp and Zimmer, so I expect both of those drivers to be strong here tonight. Like we said, this is not a short track, but it sure does race like one, so the drivers who excel there will excel here, and I've seen in my experience.
Yeah, definitely. Tanner Sharp was telling me yesterday, he was telling me that he's going to come out swinging here tonight. He was disappointed he could not make that race last week, but he was also disappointed he gave up what was going into last week, about a 17-point advantage over Dave Wilson. And Dave, coming away with a great finish last week, was able to get tied for the lead in points. So we have a minute left in practice, and we've been talking about them. Tanner Sharp, Dave Wilson, P1 and P2 here. as we only have about 52 seconds left before qualifying. But, you know, Christopher Burge in third is about a half-tenth off of Dave Wilson, but those two up near the top will be fighting for this victory tonight, I'm sure. There is Dave Wilson. He's headed to pit road. Definitely got to practice that entry to pit road, Cameron. It's one of those entries where you have to get on the entrance in turn 3, which is very tricky.
Yes, it's one of the things about this track that makes it so unique and so tough. We actually did talk to a lot of the drivers after last week's event at Iowa Speedway. A lot of them they did not even have the track and had no experience on it. So this is, for a lot of the field tonight, this is their first, real test of how they'll do here.
Yeah, it's definitely a track where you do have to get as much practice in as possible, just because of how it drives. I've never really had a car or truck here at Gateway Motorsports Park that's felt great on both ends. The setup is always you're always sacrificing one of the corners to make it through the whole lap here with your setup. So I'm sure that's something they're going to have to be fighting with tonight as we have moved over into the qualifying session. Of course, tonight is a night race here at Gateway, and that's going to give them a lot more grip. Track temperature is at 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Actually, it's cooled off just a little bit down to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And you'll see these drivers out on track. It is open qualifying, Cameron, and that's going to be something they're going to be doing for the rest of the season here. But it's going to be interesting to see the open qualifying session. It's great to see all those cars out on track, racing with each other, trying to get the best lap in.
Yes, open qualifying is a different beast to lone car qualifying, and one of the things with the new dynamic track that I've seen in practice is waiting for a good lap while the temperature of the track changes. Maybe not tonight, as we're fully in the nighttime, but that waiting for the track temperature to change really does actually help a lot, as we see Tanner Sharp going through turn 1 and 2 here on the screen. Peter, why don't you take us for a lap here with Tanner?
Yeah, as you can see, Tanner headed down the backstretch about 160 miles an hour as he dives up into turn number 3. Very flat through here. He's going to has his eye set further towards the exit of the corner. Really important to get a strong exit out of the corner. You can see he's right down on that white line on the exit, because that's where the grip is to try and get a great run down the front stretch. Hard on the brakes here. You can see him all the way down to about 100 miles an hour through the corner, and now he's going to arc it down, kind of double apex the corner, and that is a lap of the Gateway Motorsports Park. It goes by really fast. This track, even though their lap times are about 33 seconds, it goes by fast here.
Yes, this race is going to be 100 laps tonight, so it probably, I would say it probably will fly by, at least in relative terms, because not really a track that's super susceptible to cautions, but definitely, we have seen these drivers race many different types of tracks this season, but like we said, this is their first foray into this track for a lot of them tonight. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays into how this race goes.
Yeah, from my experience, races that I've been in here at Gateway Motorsports Park, this track is very stratifying amongst the field. You get your drivers who really like it, and then you get your drivers who don't like it so much. I personally am one of those drivers who don't like it so much because, like I said, it's always a compromise. You never get a truck or car that handles just perfect on both ends here, and it makes it really difficult for the drivers. It's something that it makes it just difficult, and they're going to have to fight with it. But everyone here fighting the same thing. If you're new to the SimPossible Racing League here, they're running a fixed setup, so all drivers in this field are running the same setup. So it comes down to these drivers having fun out there, not having to focus on building a setup and just focusing towards having a great time. And definitely these guys put on a show. They have a great, the racing that we've seen this season, it's been fun up here in the booth, just watching these guys race and getting to commentate them, because they've put on some great shows, and I'm sure we will see that tonight. Well, we have about a minute and a half left, just under a minute and a half, and Tanner Sharp, he paced the field in practice, and now he is top of the charts in open qualifying with a 33.424 second lap. He's a little bit off of what he ran in practice, which is actually somewhat surprising, Cameron. He's about 0.2 off what he ran in practice.
Yeah, I was actually going to say for a minute there, the track did actually go down to 78 degrees, and that doesn't seem like a lot. It's only 1 degree, but in iRacing, that really is a huge shift. 1 degree can make a difference. So I was going to see if these guys are going to wait to go out quicker. Actually, David Wilson just did, so put him to P1 right now.
Yeah, Dave Wilson running a 33.330 lap, goes to top of the charts. Of course, he's looking for yet another pole this season. He's had a great start to the season, has David Wilson. And he's done really well. He's won from pole 3 times this season, so he'll definitely be chasing that 4th win from the pole if he does stick it out. He's actually got 4 poles this year and 4 wins, but they haven't all happened at the same race weekend. But so far, Kyle Zimmer now has worked his way up into 2nd. So the 25 Kyle Zimmer in that Rebel Racing machine, he's jumped over his teammate Tanner Sharp, and I think Tanner's going to run out of time here for a fast lap. Indeed he has. So looks like Dave Wilson's got this pole locked up. Great qualifying, great lap by Dave Wilson. As you see the 56 of Tom Johnson there, he's still on a flying lap, so we'll have to see what he can do. He's currently at a 34.249. Here he comes to the line, and he is going to improve to a 33.934, but that's not going to move him up the charts. He'll stay in the 7th position in that number 56 machine. And Cameron, this track being tricky, I think a part of tonight's race, if a part of my game plan anyway, would be to keep my truck clean tonight, keep all 4 fenders on it to be able to fight for that shootout toward the end.
Yeah, absolutely. David Wilson, we've seen him win races this year by just doing that, by not getting involved in accidents and just keeping his truck, clean. So I think we know what his game plan tonight's going to be. Zimmer, he's been one of the faster drivers this season, but a little bit susceptible to mistakes. So let's see if he can alleviate that and go up there and fight for the win.
Yeah, and of course, Kyle Zimmer, he is 3rd in points, so he's definitely going to try and make inroads on the front, too, as we'll get your starting lineup sorted here. Got that rough RT12 pace car out front, but starting on the pole, like we've said, Dave Wilson in that number 20 machine. I'm sure we'll see him pop on the screen here in just a second. Starting to his outside, Kyle Zimmer with a 33.390.
All right, row 2, that 98 car, Chris Roberge, that very beautiful Canada-sponsored machine, and to his outside, Tanner Sharp.
Starting in row number 3, AJ Digby and Nate Catilla. Those 2 drivers will be fighting, I'm sure, throughout this race.
All right, row 4, we got Tom Johnson starting on the inside, and to his outside, Alan Capers.
Alan Capers was the first truck not to take time, and right behind him will start Billy Wise, I should say, in 9th, and Eric Minch rounds out our top 10 starting spot.
Doug McCollum in the 33 truck will start 11th, and to his outside, Tim Connolly in the number 3.
And Brian Lowhead in the number 66 machine will round out our field. And, I don't think this is the first time we've seen Brian Lowhead start shotgun on the field. I think he started there a couple times this season, but he's had some great finishes from that spot, so expect to see that number 66 truck coming up through the field. Well, we'll have to wait until Dave Wilson gets these 13 trucks rolling, looking out the back right into the eyes of Chris Roberge, and getting to see some beautiful scenery here. I'm sure these drivers will be looking towards the Gateway Arch, which isn't far away from this track. In fact, you can see the Gateway Arch from the track. Boom! Right there, there's downtown St. Louis. Beautiful shot by Carlos Acosta in the broadcasting booth. SimTV providing us with these fantastic camera shots here tonight. Thanks to them, we'll be using their product for the remainder of the season, so really appreciate them helping us out. But Cameron, it's the calm before the storm here.
Yeah, and one driver I'm going to be looking at tonight is the 98 of Christopher Burge. We know Wilson, Zimmer, Sharp, those guys are always fast, but Christopher Burge has been a very quiet dark horse all season long. Typically does strategy moves that are opposite to everyone else. I want to see what he can do.
Yeah, we saw him make a really interesting call at Iowa, and just kind of made a call that we all thought might not pay off, and he was able to pay off, get a third place finish last week, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. Pace car has dived down, a little hard left there, a little chicane for that rough RT12, but now it puts it in the hands for the flagman. The green flag is out here in the air at Gateway Motorsports Park, and David Wilson got a pretty good start. I think he's going to clear the 25 of Kyle Zimmer into turn number 1. Indeed he has, but they're side-by-side battle for third between Roberge and Sharp. What a great run Sharp got off the corner.
And here comes Zimmer on the outside. He got a great run through 1 and 2. Like we were saying, that outside line is really, really good in that corner. But he's going to lose it here in 3 and 4 because that outside is not there in that end of the speedway.
Yeah, if you can stay to his outside through 3 and 4, which is really tough to do, you can actually make the pass in 1 and 2, but it is really hard to stay tough on the outside in 3 and 4. As you can see now, Tanner Sharp has set his sights on his teammate as Chris Roberge closing in, diving to the inside now, trying to look underneath Tanner Sharp as they go down the backstretch. And one thing you'll note going down the backstretch is there's actually an opening in the track. We'll have to keep an eye on that as Chris Roberge dives into contact with Tanner Sharp. Sharp trying to save it, not able to do so. Got those brakes locked down. That number 26 truck, there's still no caution, but Tanner's going to back up onto the track. We'll see if the caution gets thrown. Still no caution. We're still green. Little bit of contact with Roberge there, and it just sent Sharp around. Here's the replay. There's that light bit of contact, and Tanner Sharp, as we have a caution on the track, it's for something else, but you can see that Tim Connolly looks like he's taking it to the garage here in that number 3 machine. But that will bring out the yellow flag here at Gateway Motorsports Park. Exciting start to this race.
I tell you what, Peter, that was a great piece of driving by Tanner there because even though he did bump the wall just a little bit, if he was a foot lower than he was, that could have been a tow and a really bad hamper to his day.
Yeah, I'm watching that number 26 truck as he goes on by the broadcast booth, and it doesn't look like he's got any damage on that Shriners Hospital number 26 machine, so he'll definitely be keeping an eye forward and seeing if he can work his way back up. He's down in 11th position currently, but he'll be headed down pit road. I'm sure he's going to have the crew check out just to make sure that there is no damage, but Kyle Zimmer stays out and will take the race lead. Dave Wilson, one of the drivers on pit road, so your pole sitter is currently going to come down, take tires, so it'll be interesting to see. They didn't have many laps on his tires. Cameron, is tires important at a track like Gateway?
Yes and no, I would say. Maybe not so much since we are in total darkness here, but this track is the surface is quite old. It was repaved about a couple years later, but we are on the old scan version. So this track is a little bit bad on tires, but I don't think with the conditions here tonight, it should be too much of an issue for these drivers. But we did see about half the field come down and take them, so maybe that will be a factor on this next restart.
Dave Wilson was the first one off pit road. AJ Digby follows him. I think Eric Minch just nipped Tanner Sharp to the next truck off pit road. And Alan Capers following them, so that's your top 5 off pit road. But they're going to be a little bit further back in the pack than they were before they came in, as a couple more trucks will be diving down pit road. So it looks like David Wilson will be the first car on for fresh tires, and it looks like he'll be restarting 4th after this all shakes out. But we have a couple more pace laps left here at Gateway Motorsports Park.
Just as we're here under pacing, quick shout out to Wesley Lee, Mitchell Brown, Movie Guy Gaming, and the Heartbeat Network in chat. Thank you for giving us some things to read while we do this. Hope you guys are enjoying the broadcast tonight.
Absolutely. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We have great fun commentating all these leagues. Yesterday we got to do some ASRS. Got to have their first race of the season, so that'll be exciting commentating with them for the remainder of the year. But, you know, we got some people moving up through the field. Some people have elected to stay out. Doug McCollum has moved from the 11th starting position up to 8th. Nate Catilla, he's one of those who's stayed out into that last caution, but he has moved up from the 6th starting spot, and now he's running 3rd. There he is in that MS Ford machine here running in the MS Ford Truck Series. Go check them out. Google them. They do some great stuff with disabled folks doing exercises, and it's really a gym for people with disabilities. So go check them out. They do some great stuff. And I believe they're now doing an online service where you can actually stream some of their workouts. So that's pretty cool to see that they're going into the technology age. Who says your gym has to stay at the gym nowadays? As pace car lights still on, but I'm expecting them to turn off as everyone looks like they're starting to double up. Pace car lights are off. We'll be getting back to green flag racing. So it'll be interesting to see how Dave Wilson can make good use of those 4 fresh tires. It's only a few green flag laps for everyone else in front of him, but we've seen in iRacing that a few laps fresher tires can make all the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a little bit surprised that Zimmer took the bottom on this restart because of that huge run he got through 1 and 2 on the initial start. I'm surprised he's not trying to exploit that a little bit, but we'll see if Roberge can do what he did and hold him tight through 1 and 2.
Yeah, Roberge got a fantastic start that last time as well, able to pick his way up now into the 2nd position, but you know, starting in that outside line there in the 2nd position, I think it's the hardest spot to restart in all the field because you're kind of having to look over at the leader. You don't have as many visual cues as if you were the car behind in 3rd or even the car in 4th is when the leader hits the gas. But we'll see if Roberge can hold tough. Pace car once again dives down onto pit road, putting it in the hands of Kyle Zimmer in that number 25. Keep an eye on Dave Wilson. He's the 4th truck, the 2nd truck on the outside. Zimmer gets a fantastic start. Looks like Roberge, not sure if he spun his tires, started in the wrong gear or something, but he did stack up that high line just a little bit. But look at him. He dives it down into turn number 1. Roberge, contact with Nate Catilla. Roberge has gone around. Dave Wilson, nowhere to go. Tanner Sharp, nowhere to go. Those two get collected in it, and those 2 trucks, both of them having some damage on their vehicles. Roberge getting going back there, but that just looked like just a little bit of contact. There it is, just that slight bit of contact between the 2. Tanner Sharp and Dave Wilson nowhere to go, and it looked like someone else got involved in that. Not quite sure who. Doug McCollum it was in the number 33. So riding on board here with Roberge, that little bit of contact, Cameron, that's enough to send him around.
Yeah, that bottom line is deceptively tough. It's so hard to keep the truck down there when on the restarts and just, you know, in general. Really nothing anyone could do there. Racing deal, and it's a shame that was a pretty brutal wreck for everyone involved.
Yeah, now if you are new to the SimPossible series, these drivers do get a series of fast repairs. So they can come down pit road and get a repair to fully repair their truck. They get 4 of those throughout tonight's event. So I'm sure, you know, they'll be upset that they'll have to go down and use one of their fast repairs, but they do have those in hand, which will keep them on the track running at top speed.
Absolutely, and it's great that they do that because it has made these races a lot better to watch, just to keep these guys in the race, and actually adds a little bit of strategy to things too.
Yeah, definitely. Unless you absolutely have to, you kind of want to keep those fast repairs to a little bit later in the race, perhaps. So if something does happen or multiple things happen, you can come down and use them a little bit later, as Dave Wilson does use a fast repair. That number 20 truck nice and clean, as I'm looking at his pit crew. Looks like he's got a Star Wars inspired pit crew as they go to work on that number 20 machine. But he will roll off pit road. Nate Catilla right in front of him in that number 4 machine. So it looks like he's decided to get some freshies on that number 4 truck for the first time tonight. Tanner Sharp actually got off pit road really fast. So I'm wondering if Tanner didn't take tires. He was the first one off pit road. So I'm assuming Tanner took 2 tires because his pit stop only took 9 seconds, but we'll have to see how this plays out. Billy Wise now inherits the 3rd position. AJ Digby is up to 2nd in that number 14 machine. Kyle Zimmer still your race leader, still on the tires he started the race with. Cameron, I did a few laps by myself in practice, and on a full tank, 100% fuel, you could get about 70 laps. So looks like these drivers won't be able to make it on a single tank of fuel unless there are plenty of cautions. But I think Kyle Zimmer just out there, he's trying to keep that clean air, because clean air can mean all the difference.
Absolutely, and he's probably not even thinking about fuel just yet. Just trying to keep it up there, and like you said, keep it in that clean air. Tanner Sharp's, he took 2 tires on the stop, which is pretty interesting because that's something I would want to see if it would work. You know, a little bit later in the run. Of course, he only made it about 2 corners on that last one, but as we were talking about the tires previously, that probably would be a good strategy call later in this race.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see how that works out for Tanner Sharp. He might be just trying to play with the tires a little bit, see what would work well later on in the race, to see maybe this is something he'll want to do then, because we've seen those kind of calls win people races in the past. So Tanner Sharp out there on 2 tires, I'm sure he'll be interested to see how he shakes up in comparison to the folks in front of him, Billy Wise, AJ Digby, and of course Kyle Zimmer, your race leader. Is pace car lights still on? We'll have to see if they go off at the line here. Nope, looks like they do go off. So they finally flipped the switch on that RT12 pace car, and we'll go green this time by. Got
Let me see. Zimmer take the bottom again.
Yep, Zimmer is on the bottom, and like you said, kind of surprising, but he got a really good jump that last time. So if he can get a similar jump to what he got last time, I'm sure he'll be fine, and he might be able to even clear AJ Digby before turn 1. But that number 25 Airborne Graphics Silverado looking pretty out front. Right beside him is that Zulu Motorsports machine, AJ Digby. We got 2 trucks up near the front with lots of blue, red, yellow, and black on those trucks. So kind of similar paint schemes in a way, at least a similar color palette, but 2 very good looking trucks. I'm sure Zimmer, of course, very happy with Airborne Graphics, always gives them a shout out, so they always give him a great looking truck. As we expect to see that rough RT12 pace car dive down, we'll be getting back to green flag racing this time.
Well, we're coming to the green here, and Digby is holding Zimmer really tight. Green is out. Zimmer gets a great jump. So does Sharp behind him. He's going to push Digby into turn 1 here. But looks like Zimmer's going to clear him into turn 1.
Yeah,
really.
Tanner Sharp involved in that last caution, but already here racing up to the 3rd position in that number 26 Shriner Hospital Chevrolet. And he's going to be looking on AJ Digby. Where can he go? He's kind of peeking his nose to the high side of Digby as Digby drives really hard into turn number 3. Really hard to get on the brakes here, and watch out for that truck in front of you. It can be, if you brake just a second too late, you could end up in the back of that truck in front of you. But here comes Tanner Sharp. He's all over AJ Digby with those fresh tires. And look at that number 25, Kyle Zimmer, running way up that racetrack. But that's where you want to be. Look at Tanner Sharp. What a run he got out of turn number 2. He's under pressure now from behind by Dave Wilson, so he's got to go. He's going to have the inside line here into 3 and 4, and I expect to see that number 26 truck up into P2 here on the racetrack.
Yeah,
he gets really loose. Oh, and 26 is around. Tanner Sharp smoking. Billy Wise involved. Oh my gosh, lots of cars involved. Alan Capers involved as well, and Eric Minch involved. Brian Lohead, Jessica, and Tim Connolly flipping upside down in that number 3 machine. Sure do hope he's okay. Brian Lowhead was able to get his truck mostly stopped. Watch this replay. Tanner Sharp looks like he might have just got a little bit loose, and a couple of trucks had nowhere to go coming out of turn number 4, Cameron. That looks like maybe he got that apron that we were talking about, those rumble strips down there.
Yeah, Peter, I was watching him, and he did go down and hit that rumble strip just a little bit, and I don't think we mentioned that, but that really upsets the truck when you do that, and just, you know, when this track is not that wide comparatively, and when you get in trouble there, it just, you know, well, we saw what happened, so another brutal wreck off turn on turn number 4 there.
Yeah, definitely. You've watched this replay once again. Tanner Sharp just spinning, and it seemed like the track narrowed up really fast for a lot of these trucks, and unfortunately a lot of them had to stop on the racing line, which didn't help because that's where all the people were coming at speed. So definitely, if I'm Kyle Zimmer, I'm going to be thankful that I stayed out, kept that track position, because everything's happening behind me. Although he has come down pit road under this caution flag and has given the race lead to AJ Digby. Up at the front there is Kyle Zimmer coming off pit road, followed by Dave Wilson in that number 20 machine. Now I'm going to have to go back and watch this replay, and we'll have to see if Wilson did get quite a bit of damage in that number 20 machine. He had to use yet another fast repair. So looks like a couple of these drivers having to use fast repairs early on, but we are now through 15 of the 100 laps here tonight. Your top 5 is AJ Digby, Tom Johnson in the 56, Kyle Zimmer 3rd, David Wilson 4th, Brian Lowhead rounding out your top 5. We'll step away for just a second and we'll be right back.
You know, and it's not about MS anymore. It's about just working out in this community and being a part of the community. And you can go there, you come to MS Forward and everybody gets it. You can talk to everybody about it. But that's, I think, my spin, if you will, on my disease has changed to a more positive thing, just because I've been able to be a part of MS Forward Gym. And it's not just a gym, I just can't say it enough, it's a community. It's really a community.
It's murder, go crazy, berserker.
All right, guys, welcome back to Madison, Illinois. We are doubled up for the restart here after a caution involving most of the field. And Peter, this race not going to plan so far, but what do you think for the rest of it?
Yeah, you know, some of those early jitters might be, hopefully, will start to wear off. You know, you have AJ Digby out front. We've seen him do a great job keeping that number 14 truck clean so far this year. It's a tricky track. It definitely is a track that now that they're in the race, they'll have to keep adjusting to. Of course, the track conditions will continue to change throughout the night with this variable weather. So we'll just have to wait and see, but definitely possibly some early jitters with these drivers. But we'll have to see how this restart goes as the pace car is about to peel off here. And there goes the pace car, and we'll give the lead over to AJ Digby. You'll have to wait for that restart zone And the green flag is out. He gets a great start in that number 14 machine. Great start. Clears the number 25 of Kyle Zimmer. Looks like Kyle Zimmer didn't get a great start. And once again, Tanner Sharp was all over him. And he's still all over him in that number 26. So those two Rebel Racing teammates trying to bump each other to the front. Here comes Kyle Zimmer. Here comes Tanner Sharp diving all the way down almost to the grass on the inside. Dave Wilson now going to look to the outside of AJ Digby. But the number 25, Kyle Zimmer, trying to supplant himself as that race leader once again. And indeed, he does so. Here we go. 3 wide down the front stretch for the second position. Tanner Sharp on the inside. He wisely backs out of it. Dave Wilson, though, hanging tough on the outside of the 14 of AJ Digby. Digby just washing up just a little bit. Wilson's giving him just a little bit of room. And the 20 of Dave Wilson will clear Digby off the corner. But look at Tanner Sharp, Cameron. Tanner is seeking that blood once again.
Yeah, he's probably a little annoyed because he's been involved in 2 wrecks now very early on. So he's going to want to get to the front and just not taking any prisoners right now. But we do see this high line in 1 and 2 really, really strong. David Wilson made a power move David Wilson made a power move there, and that was pretty impressive. But, ooh, Eric Minch, he's spinning
Eric
in
Minch
turn
got
1.
loose. He's saving it. He's
Everyone's
still working.
spinning.
Oh man, now, oh gosh, we got cars in the grass. Billy Wise, Nate Cotilla, and Alan Capers all going through the grass in turn number 1 and 2. Everyone gets it woed up, and everyone got it saved. We're still green here, riding on board with Alan Capers here. Watch this. Everyone gets way sideways. It's like they're driving on dirt, and Capers has to hit the brakes and goes through the grass. Everyone no harm, no foul. But definitely some track position lost.
Yeah, the dirt track's down the road, so that looked a little bit more like what you'd see there, but very impressive driving by all those guys not to spin it, even though they did get in the grass, but no harm, no foul, we're still green.
Yeah, and here is Tanner Sharp. He's still looking for a way around AJ Digby. Eric Minch had a huge run coming out of turn number 4 and just looks like those rear brakes locked up as here comes Tanner Sharp. He's now got a great run out of turn number 4. Maybe a little bit squirrely there coming out of the corner. We've seen that already strike once, but he's got a great run into the corner. He's a little bit loose. Looks like these guys might have a little bit too much rear brake bias because they're all sliding under brakes, Cameron. What can you do if your car's a little bit loose on entry? What can you do to try and help that?
Well, with these fixed setups, the only thing you have is that brake bias. So if you're going the corner and it's stepping out from you, you just have to move it forward until you can, get on the brakes like you want. And I think you are right. These guys are just getting caught out by that.
Yeah, and unfortunately for these drivers, you can only move that brake bias plus or minus 3%. So sometimes what you get locked in at when you finish practice, set up your truck. Nate Cotilla, he's one of those guys. He's going through the grass again. Another fantastic save in that MS Ford truck. And man, these guys, they're just cutting the grass for this track. They won't have to bring out the yard mowers and for a couple weeks because these guys are doing the business for them, doing a great job.
Oh.
We do have a yellow out on the circuit. Looks like Roberge has gone around. He's going to stay on the front stretch. And he's going to wisely back out off the track, take a tow. Here is the replay. Looks like it's kind of a similar thing, looks like that. Oh, no. Ooh, maybe a little bit of contact there. Gets up on his side of that number 98 machine. We'll have to see that from a different angle. Here we go again. Eric Minch to the outside of the 01 machine. There they go, coming off the corner. And looks like maybe Eric might have got a little bit loose out there. Or clipped the wall, one of the two, and then made a little bit of contact with the right rear of the number 98 machine. Lowhead doing a great job avoiding that accident. Here we go on board. Yeah, looks like the 01 just got a little bit loose there and unfortunately washed down into the track and hit the 98. So I'm sure Roberge will be upset. He's already a couple laps down tonight. He was looking for a great finish to back up his finish last week at Iowa Speedway. He started 3rd. But he's now 3 laps down in this event and still on pit road. But speaking of pit road, we got some action, Cameron.
Yeah, it looks like all the leaders are going to come down and probably get 4 fresh tires and just re-rack them off pit road. Looks like a couple cars stayed out. That's
was going to say, it looks like Doug McCollum will be your lucky dog once he gets waved around the pace car here. But there is Kyle Zimmer. I'm sure that number 25 crew, they have a great pit stall. Dave Wilson, of course, has the best pit stall. He's the first one on pit road, but those two pit crews will be looking to do a good job here as they both hit their marks. Ooh, looked like Dave Wilson was going to slide along there, but just barely makes it into that front white line just in front of that machine. So we'll have to see who makes it off pit road first. First man moving is Kyle Zimmer, and Kyle Zimmer will be the winner off pit road in that number 25 machine. So definitely Zimmer saying, hey guys, I really want to win this race tonight and lead the most laps doing so.
And the two trucks that stayed out on the lead lap are the 13 of Alan Capers and the 66 of Brian Lowhead. So assuming they don't pit, they will be the front row in the restart. We will have the 01 of Minch and Billy Wise take the wave around, so move them back on the lead lap when we go green.
Yeah, it looks like Alan Capers will be one of those taking the wave around here. So definitely trying to get one of his laps back to get himself. In fact, when he does take the wave around here, he will be back on the lead lap, back in business for that number 13 machine. Here's Brian Lowhead in the 66. We just got a quick shot of him. He's done a great job here tonight, avoiding a couple of accidents, and he is actually scored your race later. So just barely was able to get around Chris Roberge. It didn't look like there was much of a spot for him to get around, but he did so. It's kind of difficult when you're coming at a car at 130 miles an hour and there isn't much room on track to go by. Sometimes you just have to close your eyes and hope you make it.
Yeah, and I'm going to be interested to see how the 66 of Lowhead does on this restart, because I'm not exactly sure when the last time he pitted was. Okay,
yeah, he does
11
have,
laps.
Yeah, 11 and a half laps on his tires, at least in this stint. So we'll have to see how that works out. But like we said earlier, you know, he likes to start shotgun on the field, and he always seems to make good use of that shotgun spot.
Yes, and I'm not sure exactly how many of that 11 laps was green laps, but I think he should be fine in this restart. You know, track position, never a bad thing to have, especially at a track like this where we've seen some incidents happen further on back.
Yeah, I'm looking at Brian Lowhead's stats for this year, and his best starting spot all year has been a 10th position start, or this season, I should say. And that was at Richmond, but he's had some great finishes. He had a 4th place finish at Atlanta earlier this year, so I'm sure he's looking for another top 5 here tonight. As pace car lights are off, we'll get set to go back to green flag racing here. We will have completed 29 laps here once we go green flag, and I'm sure a couple of these drivers will at this point start to think about that halfway bonus point that the leader at halfway gets, because every point matters at the end of the season.
Absolutely, and we did see the 66 of Lowhead take the bottom line. The top line, other than the initial start with Kyle Zimmer getting that great run, it does not seem to have gotten a very good jump off the line. We've seen a lot of cars just stall out, kind of, but well, pace car's getting ready to go off, so we will get back going green here. All right, pace car is off. He's going to take that hard left onto pit road. Brian Lowhead's going to pull it all the way down to the inside line. Wait for this restart. And we are green here. Zimmer gets a pretty good restart on that high side, but Lowhead is going to keep even with him going down into turn 1. Let's see if Zimmer can hold him tight and get that runoff to turn number 2 like we've seen.
Yeah, it looks like Lowhead might have just washed up a little bit.
Oh,
it
contact.
looks like 3 wide contact with the outside wall. Kyle Zimmer, and now Lowhead's going through the grass on the backstretch. Man, that's an action-packed half of a straightaway there. Cars going through the grass, leads changing, and here comes AJ Digby. Digby trying to do the over-under here, and he's had to check up just a little bit, but he's definitely going to be gunning for that 25.
AJ Digby is a driver that has been there all night. I don't know if you can see on the broadcast, but he does have quite a bit of front-end damage, so I'm surprised he's doing as well as he has. He's Kind of like the cockroach, he just won't go away, but he's doing a great job up there tonight.
Yeah, he's maybe one thing that he might be doing is he might be saving that fast repair because he's seen some early accidents and might want to save those fast repairs right towards the end. As here comes Tanner Sharp. Tanner Sharp trying to get around AJ Digby. We saw in the last run he wasn't quite able to make the pass on Digby. Got really loose right when he got up to him. But now he's trying to make the move here on the high side going down Friendship's got a great run. And they dive off into turn number 1. Tanner Sharp much later on the brakes than AJ Digby. Trying to find that grip on the high side. He's going to hit the gas a little bit earlier, power out of turn number 2, and clear the 14 of Digby.
Yeah, and I think Wilson's going to try to follow him, or not. He's going to go low in turn 3 and 4. We're going to have the preferred line down there, and I think he's going to make the pass quite easily. As I say that, Digby drives it in and keeps position for a split second, but Wilson will clear him off 4 and move him up to position number 3.
Yeah, so you're looking at your top 3 in points, 3rd place in points, Kyle Zimmer, and then Tanner Sharp and Dave Wilson. Those 2 tied for the points lead. They are your top 3 here running tonight. And, you know, they definitely have their eyes set on the championship. And like I said, Tanner was really upset that he gave up so many points and gave up the points lead pretty much to Dave Wilson last week. So he definitely is gunning for this one in that 26. A little bit further back in the pack, Nate Catilla, he's in the 5th position. There he is. He's running right behind Chris Roberge. Roberge a couple laps down. In fact, Roberge is 4 laps down at this point in the race. And Catilla just trying to keep all fenders on that number 4 truck. And he is actually a little bit faster than AJ Digby, or at least he has been over the last few laps. Last time by, though, AJ Digby a little bit faster than Nate. So definitely keep an eye on that battle for the 4th position as this race goes on. A little bit behind Nate Catilla is Tom Johnson in the number 56. There he is, keeping a very clean race truck. That's definitely one thing I've noticed about Tom Johnson this year is he likes to keep a clean race truck, and he does so very well. And then in the 7th position was your lucky dog Doug McCollum, just a little bit further back. There is the number 33 machine, and he is doing a great job here tonight. Great to see Doug keeping that number 33 truck on the track, getting the lucky dog. And then you kind of have a scrum behind them. Eric Minch, Billy Wise, Alan Capers, and Brian Lowhead. They're all pretty close to one another. Cameron, it looks like Lowhead stayed out on those older tires. Might not be working out for him. He's fallen down to the 9th position. Alan Capers all the way down there on the rumble strips. Like we said, that can sometimes upset the truck, but that keeps him going. He keeps it going straight. Capers in 8th, and there is Lowhead in the 9th position. 10th position currently is Eric Minch as Capers gets really loose in turn 1. And that number 13 truck saying, hey, I can, I'm the drift king and I can get through the corner. Just as I was saying, Eric Minch is the 10th place car. He's 1 lap down. As we look toward the front, it's been brewing pretty good, Cameron. While we had kind of our eyes set throughout the field, Tanner Sharp's caught Kyle Zimmer. And it looks like he's going to take the race lead here.
Yeah, Zimmer drove it down in turn 1. He overcooked it pretty well. We're going to be 3 wide down the backstretch, but he just slid up the track and gave Sharp that hole he needed. But this battle is pretty hot right now.
Yeah, you saw Dave Wilson. He decided, hey guys, I'll just back out of this one here. I'll let you guys race for it. And a little bit of contact there between Tanner Sharp and Dave Wilson. Looks like they just kind of ran out of real estate coming off the corner. Kyle Zimmer is still able now to clear and keep the race lead, but he's definitely running a little bit higher in turns 1 and 2 for these guys behind him. But Tanner Sharp now going to make his way back into the 2nd position, making that low line work through 1 and 2. But man, a little bit of 3 wide action here at Gateway. You don't often see that. These guys putting on a show for us here on 3 Wide TV tonight.
And I think Tanner found out the way to make that low line work is to not use it. Oh no, oh my God.
Yeah, a little bit of left side wall scraping action there. Tanner Sharp having to go around one of the slower trucks, and now looks like Dave Wilson to his outside. And we'll have to see how that damage possibly plays out here with Tanner Sharp. They're side by side down the backstretch. And Dave Wilson, he doesn't have the preferred line, but he does have a little bit of an advantage, at least on the racetrack. Tanner Sharp trying to diamond the corner, get back down to the apex on exit, and that 26 truck has a pretty good run. but Dave Wilson holding tough on the outside through 3 and 4. And like I said, usually when you can do that, you can get clear in 1 and 2. But both of the 26 and the 20, they're both washing up the track a little bit. Tanner Sharp, oh, contact! Looks like Tanner Sharp might have just washed up a little bit into Dave Wilson. Both of those two ran out of real estate yet again. And Tanner Sharp's gone around. We do have a caution on the racetrack. Not quite sure what happened there, Cameron.
Yeah, as I was saying, it looks like Tanner Sharp just slid up. I was saying he found out the way to make the low line work in turn 1 and 2 is to not use the low line. He pushed the 20 of Wilson up, almost up into the marbles, but just a little bit too much on exit there. But Tanner on the front stretch just had a little bit of an issue getting around the slow truck of Tim Connolly, and how was that not a wreck? I don't know.
Yeah, great avoidance by those two drivers to keep it going clean and green, at least for half a lap, as these drivers, I expect to see them back down pit road. Here they come. Indeed, they are coming down pit road. Kyle Zimmer leading them down. Dave Wilson right behind him, and AJ Digby third and lockstep behind him. And Nate Catilla, the 4th place truck in the number 4 machine. 4 for 4. Now that's Wendy's. As everyone now getting to the pit cone, have to keep that pit road speed all the way down to their pit stop.
See, Peter, now I'm as hungry as these drivers are for tires.
Yeah, I mean, I could go for some chicken nuggets right now. That sounds pretty good. Some French fries. As it looks like Eric Minch in that 01 machine, he's going to get the lucky dog this time. He's been waved around the pace truck as everyone now in their pit stalls.
It's like Zimmer overshot it a little bit. He had to back up, so he's going to lose a little bit there.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. Definitely David Wilson gets those right sides up faster, but AJ Digby in that 14 machine is going to be the first man off pit road. Fantastic pit time for that crew. 14-second pit stop and a 39.5-second pit lane time. That's over a second and a half faster than Dave Wilson. So Digby crew definitely getting the job done.
And I'm surprised he hasn't taken his fast repair yet. The front end of that truck is still beat up, so we're getting close to halfway. I would think now would be the time you'd want to take it.
All right, well, we'll give you a quick rundown through your top 5. David Wilson, AJ Digby was first man off pit road. Dave Wilson behind him. Kyle Zimmer back a little bit further back. Nate Catilla also back there in the 4th place, and then Tom Johnson as well. So we'll be right back with you here on Rewide TV. Welcome back to Gateway Motorsports Park, here not far away from St. Louis, Missouri. Pace car lights are off. We'll get set to go back to green. Chris Roberge and Billy Wise, those two drivers electing to take the wave around here. Chris Roberge will now be 3 laps down, and Billy Wise will be back on the lead lap in the number 98 and the number 32 respectively. But I expect to see the pace car with a hard left turn here to bring it back down pit road. We'll get set to go back to racing. AJ Digby will resume this race as your race leader in that number 14 machine. A little bit of front damage on that truck, but doesn't seem to be hurting him too much as the green flag back out in the air. AJ Digby gets a pretty good start, but Dave Wilson, as they go up through the gears, Dave Wilson also getting a good start on his outside. They will be side by side off into the corner, still side by side through turns number 1 and 2. Wilson able to get a great run off the corner, but almost runs out of room, hits the wall just a little bit, but they're side by side still with some great runs. It looks like the track really narrows up out of the corner. We've seen that spot just out of turn number 2 there. A little bit of contact a couple times tonight, and there again, it looks like it just narrows up for the drivers, but they're still side by side through 3 and 4. Wilson holding tough on that high side, Digby holding tough on the inside. They're halfway down the front stretch again.
Yeah, that turn 2 has been a real trouble spot for the restarts tonight, but I think that was one of the first times we didn't have somebody go spinning, so good to see that. David Wilson got a great run through there, just couldn't do anything with it because there's a wall there, and these trucks don't like walls. But we have a battle for second. Kyle Zimmer to the outside of AJ Digby.
Yeah, Wilson was able to clear AJ Digby, but here comes Kyle Zimmer. That number 25 truck with a little bit of damage on the rear end of that machine might be making him a little bit looser. We'll have to wait and see maybe a little bit later and see how that affects with his handling, but he's holding tough around the outside of the 14 truck. They're side by side through turns number 1 and 2. Digby fighting with a little bit of tight handling down there on the inside line, but Zimmer gets a great run off the corner. Is going to be able to clear Digby, but it's quite a bit of a ways back to Alan Capers, about a half second back currently. So, but now we have a side-by-side battle for the race lead as Kyle Zimmer gets really loose in turns number 3 and 4. I think he might have clipped that those rumble strips down there, and he was right up to the back bumper of Dave Wilson, but had to check up and has lost quite a bit of ground. You see the back as we have a caution out. Not quite sure why the caution is out yet. It looks like coming out of turn number 4, Nate Catilla and Billy Wise have both gone around. I'll have to see what happened with Catilla. Here he is. That number 4 machine. Oh, looks like it happened in front of him. Looks like Tom Johnson might have been involved as well. And Catilla, I noticed that he was on pit road a couple laps ago. Looks like Tom Johnson might have got a little bit loose going through the grass there. They tried to go 3 wide through the corner. A little bit of contact there with Brian Lowhead, the 66, kind of split in the middle. Kind of just ran out of real estate for those trucks. And Catilla got a hard hit there with Billy Wise. I'm sure those 2 trucks will be hurt. Looks like everyone, looks like the 4 truck wasn't able to make it back to pit road, so they'll have to take a tow. 56 truck, man, that's a hard hit with the outside retaining wall, but I'm glad we have safer barriers here at Gateway.
Yeah, and I think the commentator's curse is in full effect tonight. That 56 of Tom Johnson, we were just talking how he was doing a great job of keeping his truck out of trouble, and, well, head on to the safe barrier there, and that kind of negates that. But we do have the leaders come on pit road now, led by, or actually second place, led by Kyle Zimmer.
Yeah, Dave Wilson decided to stay out in that number 20 machine, so that's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out, because Zimmer's on pit road in that 25. He's going to come down and get fresh tires. Of course, Dave Wilson doesn't have that many laps on his tires. It's been an 8-lap stint, and most of that has been under yellow, so I'm sure that's why he decided to stay out, and it's going to keep that clean air and track position up there. Zimmer, though, hits his marks pretty well. Everyone else behind him hitting their marks as well. Digby just behind Tanner Sharp. We'll have to see if Digby decides to get some of that damage fixed on the nose. He might not be aware that he's got damage. Sometimes you can get this visual damage and it won't even show up when you pit. As Zimmer beats everyone off pit road, Digby looks like Tanner Sharp here having a long stop, Cameron. He's going to be one of the last trucks off pit road. Not exactly sure why. Maybe it was because he clipped the wall there on that restart. In fact, that's probably why, trying to get some damage fixed on that 26 truck.
Yeah, he's already gone through 2 or 3 fast repairs tonight. I can't remember, but actually, if you look at the laps to go, David Wilson is going to be your halfway bonus point, so that's probably why he stayed out. Good strategy call on that.
Yeah, that bonus point will add up, and he's in a close battle with Tanner Sharp here in points. So with those two drivers being so close, every point matters, and he will be getting that bonus point this time by. All right, we'll actually see if we can drag Dave Wilson up into the booth. Dave Wilson, this is Peter Short up here in the 3-wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Hey, Dave, it's halfway in the race. You got that bonus point. Did that go into your head, staying out under this caution?
Yeah, it did. And plus, after the little mishaps that I've had after pitting there tonight, I decided to stay out just to try it out.
Yeah, it seems like the track is fairly tricky here tonight. We've seen a few self-spins cause some cautions. What's that truck driving like for you?
I know some guys are having troubles under braking. I find my braking's not too bad right now. My problem is more so once you get on the throttle, it really starts to push into the wall. But that's really about it. It's just really tight on under throttle.
Yeah, we've noticed a few drivers having a few problems under braking. Have you played around with your brake bias tonight, or have you just been able to keep it stock and stayed steady?
No, I bumped mine up to 66% for this race.
Yeah, Cameron and I were talking not too long ago about how moving your brake bias forward can help that situation. So, Dave, you have about just under 50 laps to go as you hit the stripe this time. What's your plan for the rest of this race? Are you going to try and keep that good track position?
Yeah, for the most part, I'm just going to try to run my line, hopefully hold off the fast guys behind me, and hope for the best.
All right, Dave. Well, thank you for joining us up here. Pace car lights are off. You get set to go back to green flag racing. Best of luck for you, bud.
Thank you.
All right, that was Dave Wilson, leader of the race and driver of the number 20 Razor machine. Right behind that RT12 pace car, and to his outside will be Alan Capers, a new face up towards the front. We've seen him involved in a few things tonight, but he's kept that truck clean for the last few laps, and now he's up to the second position, so we'll have to see what Alan can do with that 13 machine. Cameron, at this point in the race, it seems like we've had a lot of accidents. How does that change your mindset?
I think with the way the race has gone, I think that makes track position much more important. So you heard it from David Wilson. He's just going to try to run his line and keep it up there in the front. But pace car has taken that hard left onto pit road, and David Wilson is going to lead us to green. Alan Capers to his outside. We'll have to wait and see what happens off turn 2. That has been the trouble spot tonight. The green flag is out. David Wilson gets a great restart. Capers did bobble a little bit on that high side. Wilson's going to be able to take the high side into turn 1. Here comes Zimmer on the bottom for battling for second place. He's going to get really tight there.
It definitely seems like the truck is kind of unstable even on the restarts, even when they're on fresh tires as everyone fans out down the backstretch. Definitely racing all throughout this field, Cameron. I'm looking at Zimmer and Tanner Sharp. Tanner looks like he's trying to make a little bit of contact there. Looks like Alan Capers might have got a nudge in the rear end from AJ Digby. Beep, beep, coming through, bud. And little bit of contact on the front stretch. Tanner Sharp's in the inside wall.
Hard hit there.
Eric Minch flipping down the front stretch. And looks like those two drivers, they're going to both possibly get back to pit road under their own power. Looks like, no, Eric Minch is taking a tow. Tanner Sharp now. Let's watch this happen. Looks like the 01 just turned up into Tanner, and Tanner clipping the inside wall and spending the 01 flipping into turn number 1. Man, that's another hard accident. We've seen a few tonight with some really hard impacts.
Yeah, just the nature of this track, it's very flat and the walls are unforgiving to say the least, but wow. I can't believe we've seen so many hard hits and so many flips tonight. It's not a track you typically see that at, but we have seen wrecks like that in real life, you know. I believe a nationwide race a couple of years ago where there was a huge wreck on the front stretch that looked almost identical to that, so gonna be good to see these guys get back going again. I know Tanner has had a rough night to say the least, but I do think he has faster pairs left because he has been repairing his truck. So gonna be a little bit annoyed, but gonna be able to stay in the fight.
Yeah, that number 26 truck. I know he has at least one left. Might have two left. So we're just over halfway, and he's hustled that number 26 machine back around to pit road to stay on the lead lap. So that's definitely something that once you get involved in a wreck, and you might have to take a tow. And if you have to take a tow, it really costs you quite a bit of time. But him being able to hustle his way around the track with a smoking number 26 machine, he's been able to stay on the lead lap. So we'll have to see him when he hits the pit lane here. Eric Minch, one of those drivers requiring a tow. Tanner Sharp uses one of his remaining fast repairs. And AJ Digby will roll off. In fact, looks like Digby has decided to use a fast repair because that number 14 Silverado looks nice and clean up at the front again.
Yeah, and I know I was saying that I don't know why he hasn't used his fast repair yet, but the way the race has gone, I think he's right and I'm wrong.
Yeah, definitely keeping your fast repairs, like we said, is a better strategy. Keeping those in your back pocket. When do you want to use them? Do you want to use them when you got a little bit of damage, or do you want to keep them in your back pocket until you might end up in something a little bit more major? A track like Gateway, since it is one of the trickier tracks that these guys will face all year, it's probably a good idea to keep some of those in your back pocket, like Tanner Sharp has done. Up at the front is Dave Wilson, followed by Kyle Zimmer. Billy Wise has worked his way up to third position in that number 32 machine. Staying out, a couple of these drivers, once again, thinking about track position on the racetrack. As Chris Roberge, we've been talking about Roberge all night, and he's almost worked his way back to the lead lap. He's only one lap down at this moment in time. As you see Brian Lowhead on pit road, he is running in the 8th position in that number 66 Mountain Dew machine. There is Roberge. He's been really fast, qualified in the 3rd position. Ended up, I think, 4 laps down at one point and is now back to only 1 lap down.
Yeah, I think he's got a good shot at doing well if he can get that 1 lap back. Definitely, I don't see why he won't. But quickly in chat, Wesley Lee saying go Capers number 13. Well, Alan Capers is in P5 right now, so he's doing a great job. And the Heartbeat Network, gracious, is there black ice on the track? I think it's just one of those nights. Definitely no black ice as it's about 70 degrees outside, but maybe a full moon, or maybe all the drivers just bringing some bad luck with them. But I think we'll be good for the rest of this race.
Cameron, I've seen a few people smoking around out there on tracks. They might be dropping some oil, so it might not be black ice, but it might be black oil, and it might just be that arch that's just not too far from here. There it is. Maybe that thing's turning up some bad luck tonight. It kind of looks like one of those beaters that you put on the end of one of your KitchenAids, just upside down and much, much, much bigger. So maybe it's beating up these drivers tonight.
I tell you, Peter, the last time I was at the arch, the last thing that came to my mind was an egg beater.
Well, hey, you look at it from afar. I've never been to the arch myself. Maybe I should go over there after this race is done. But, I'm trying to pull strings. But speaking of pulling strings, we won't have to pull many more because the pace car is about to take a hard left turn here as we get set to go back to green flag racing here at Gateway Motorsports Park. And it will be Dave Wilson once again staying out on those older tires, but keeping that track position up the front. We've seen him be really fast tonight. And that number 20, he's really low on the track here for the restart, waiting for the green flag to come out. There it is, wave, and he's hard on the gas, and that 20 gets a great restart. Might be able to clear Kyle Zimmer here before turn number 1. But Zimmer's holding tough here on the outside. I think Wilson's going to clear him. Zimmer, big accident behind. And this will surely bring out a yellow flag. Nate Catilla's involved, a whole bunch of people. There's no yellow. I was for sure expecting a yellow out of that with everyone going through the grass. We'll go on board with Doug McCollum here in the 33. And it looks like a little bit of contact, not quite sure. Alan Capers seemed like he got turned a little bit sideways there. But there's a lot of trucks out there with damage after this one.
Oh, Tanner Sharp blew some turn 1.
Yeah, oh. It's like there was the contact there. It's like Nate Catilla and the 13 of Capers. And we finally have a yellow flag. Looks like it has, there is some oil on the racetrack, and that has brought out the yellow flag here. Brian Lowhead also going through the grass at this point in time. Oh, look at Nate Catilla slideways through the corner. What a save!
Yeah, get that man a ride for the Chili Bowl stat.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that number 4 machine is going straight. I think he's crabbing, and he had to jump out of it. Man, what a save. That truck, he didn't even hit the wall. I mean, that's just perfect drifting. Of course, it kind of looks like he's drifting around the track with that number 4 machine crabbing, but hopefully Nate has a fast repair because I'm sure he's going to need it.
You know, that truck looks like how the Stuart Haas cars looked in qualifying during the Talladega race this year, but yeah, just another instance of running out of room. You know, there's a saying in racing, Peter, cautions breed cautions. I think that's what we're seeing tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone jumbled up together, and we've seen that a few times tonight as AJ Digby stays out. Dave Wilson heading down pit road in that number 20 machine with a couple other trucks behind him. I'm sure a couple of trucks will be on pit road and trying to get their damage repaired here tonight.
Don't look now. Here comes Chris Burge, your lucky dog. So move him on to the lead lap. Definitely going to be good to see him come back to the field. That is a very fast truck. Just has not had the track position, but going to be good to see him get his lap back here.
Yeah, and I'm sure Roberge was, you know, was hoping a caution wouldn't come out when that wreck happened in turn 1. As you see the race off pit road, it looks like Kyle Zimmer's just going to beat off David Wilson. Tanner Sharp, the next man off pit road. Tom Johnson following him. Not quite sure who that was right behind Tom Johnson. So it was someone, looks like Alan Capers it was in the number 13 machine. But there is Digby, your race leader. So once these guys roll back around, it looks like AJ Digby will be your race leader, and he will be followed by Kyle Zimmer in second. Dave Wilson will be third on the restart. Tanner Sharp fourth, and then fifth will be Tom Johnson. We'll take a step away for just a brief moment and be right back here on 3 Wide TV. All right, welcome back here to the Gateway Motorsports Park. Pace car lights are off. We'll be getting set to go back to green, Cameron. You know, we were just talking under the break that some of these drivers are having some struggles coming out of turn number 2 on the restart. Looks like they might be pushing a little bit on the high side, and you're pushing a little bit on the inside, and then all of a sudden you might have a lot of wheel on it, and all of a sudden the truck breaks loose. something called push loose. And how do you fight push loose as a driver?
Push loose is one of those things that's so hard to fight. You really can't. The only thing you can do is to just drive the truck different. And we're seeing these drivers they want to go high in 1 and 2, and then that opens the bottom up, and you just see that hole gets filled, and it kind of the snowball effect really. But definitely, I think that's part of the issue.
Yeah, definitely the way I've tried to fight push loose in the past is try to run a little bit higher on entry and get a little straighter drive off the corner. Like you said, that opens the door. And opening the door for the green flag is the pace car that drives down onto pit road, giving the race into the hands of AJ Digby and that number 14 Zulu Motorsports machine. Green flag back in the air here at Gateway Motorsports Park. And Kyle Zimmer getting an absolute fantastic restart. They're going to be side by side with each other all the way, just completely side by side, into the corner. Kyle Zimmer trying to hold tough. We saw this under the last green flag restart, and Zimmer this time not having to check up a little bit off the corner, and he's going to clear AJ Digby. And here's Tanner Sharp in that Shriners Hospitals machine. He's got that number 26 all patched up, and man, this is super exciting. He's going to get underneath the number 14 machine coming out of turn number 4. And I think Tanner Sharp, if he can get on the brakes hard in turns 1 and 2, he'll clear him. But we've seen the brakes be an issue for a few people. Just as I was saying it, there goes Kyle Zimmer up the racetrack, opening the door for Tanner Sharp. Here comes the 26. We haven't seen him lead tonight, and Tanner Sharp now looking for the race lead.
Yeah, Tanner's had an interesting night tonight. Been involved in so many accidents and incidents on track. He's definitely going to want to get out to his lead and just kind of sprint away. Zimmer just totally missed his braking point in turn 1 and opened the door for him. I'm surprised he went so high in track. Oh, Digby's around.
Oh, Digby,
not so much.
Way loose. Now Wilson having to check up on the brakes. They all save it. No, Digby has gone around out of turn number 2. We thought he had saved it, but maybe he overheated those rear tires and it had just got away from him. So the yellow flag has been thrown here for Digby, who was spinning. But my oh my, I thought he had that thing saved.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to go ahead and contact iRace and see if we have the wrong track surface, because this looks more like a dirt track tonight. These guys just getting all sorts of out of shape, but, great job on both the part of Digby and Wilson there for not getting more damage than they did. I don't think Digby actually hit anything, but definitely, turn 1 and 2, that's just been the trouble spot tonight for most of these guys. Just must be oil on the track or something.
Yeah, it looks like we'll have to wait and see who comes down pit road. I don't think Tanner Sharp will, but he proves the broadcaster wrong, and he's going to bring that number 26 machine down. Right behind him is Kyle Zimmer, but I think a few people will stay out here, including Alan Capers in that number 36 machine. I kind of think that's a smart move for Capers to stay out. I mean, I know you just have a few laps on your tires. Tanner only pitted 7 laps ago, and as did Alan Capers. So those, definitely keeping fresh tires on the 26, but you might give up some track position. Same thing with Kyle Zimmer there in the 25. Those two Rebel Racing teammates might have been brought in by Levi Zielinski. Might have called them both down and calling the shots. There is David Wilson. Dave got really sideways there in turns 1 and 2 that last time. He probably heated up those tires a little bit, so I don't blame him for coming down, especially on a track like this. One of the more difficult tracks to race on this season, as Tanner Sharp does beat Kyle Zimmer and Dave Wilson off pit road. Tom Johnson right behind them. And there is AJ Digby in the number 14. I'm sure his tires were very upset after going around and all that in turns 1 and 2, but he'll get 4 fresh tires under this yellow flag. So to give the race lead to Alan Capers in that number 13 machine. Cameron, I like the call to stay out here.
Yeah, absolutely. The way this race has gone, I think track position is so important. You see there in position 3, Chris Roberge has spent the majority of this race multiple laps down, so he's going to definitely be a threat on this restart. But right behind him will be Tanner Sharp, the first truck on tires, along with Zimmer and Wilson. Probably top 3 cars of this race tonight. So I think we're going to see a great race on this restart here.
Yeah, I really I'm glad to see Christopher Burge back up here on the lead lap. Doug McCollum also getting back on the lead lap with the lucky dog here. But, you know, seeing Roberge 4 laps down, getting his way all the way back now up into the 3rd position, staying out here under this caution flag, it's those weeks where you have things that don't go your way and you're able to come back and fight through all the adversity and get yourself into a good position near the end. Those are the type of races that can win you a championship, Cameron. I know you've seen it many, many times where races just like this, someone doesn't give up and ends up with a pretty decent finish in the end. It can be really something that can make your season. As pace car lights are still on, but these field going through turn number 3. Pace speed tonight is 55 miles an hour, and I'm sure these drivers have gone 55 miles an hour more than they had hoped. I can't drive 55. I'm sure a lot of these drivers are singing that tonight in their head, as we'll only have 30 laps remaining this time by.
Yeah, and I have to ask you, Peter, as a driver yourself, if you're the 13 of Capers or 32 of Wise or even the 98 of Roberge, you know you're on older tires. You have 30 laps to go as of this lap. What is your game plan to try to keep that track position as much as possible?
Well, at this point, you know, with about 30 laps to go, I'm kind of thinking there might be one more pit stop in this race. With the yellow flags that we've been having, I'm thinking maybe, you know, make your final pit stop around lap 25, and at that point, you've made your bed. You know, unless we get a longer green flag run of maybe 12 laps or so, or even longer than that, I wouldn't think about coming down pit road after lap 25, because I think track position is going to be fairly important here tonight, especially if we keep getting these yellow flags. So that'll be interesting to see. And I know Christopher Burge has done some 2-tire stops. That's always option 2, but I think it's going to be all about track position here in the final 30 laps.
Well, we're coming through 3 and 4 with the field doubled up. Your leader is Alan Capers, who is outside Billy Wise. The pace car is going to pull off right now. So we'll see how good of a restart these guys can get. But Capers is quite a bit ahead of Billy Wise, but the green flag is out. Capers gets a great restart. Looks like Billy Wise did not get going that great, but here comes Chris Roberge on the inside. He's gonna send it down into turn 1 and clear Billy Wise, I think. Not quite, but Tanner Sharp, he got a pretty good restart himself. He's the first car on tires, remember,
contact!
and we have contact. Ooh,
Tanner
hard hit.
Sharp with contact with Billy Wise. Those two going around, and I'm sure those two, they have both been involved in quite a few scuffles tonight. Billy Wise taking a tow back to pit road in that number 32. Tanner Sharp in the 26. And it looks like they ran out of room coming out of turn number 2. It's not the first time we've seen that tonight.
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole motto of this race, is just running out of room, especially in turn 2. It just, I don't know, man. It's that corner is just calamity corner tonight.
Yeah, it looked like Tanner Sharp just kind of pushed up a little bit there, kind of ran out of room, and it was on from there. But, you know, we've said it a couple times, that inside line and that higher groove, there's such a grip difference here on this racetrack between those two lines that it can make for really tricky situations like that when the track just, it doesn't narrow literally, but it figuratively narrows up once you jump out of the corner, as Tanner Sharp will wheel that number 26 machine back to pit road to get some of that damage repaired. But joining him on pit road is your race leader, Alan Capers. And like I said, you know, we got 28 laps to go. I think it's a little bit too early to make your final 4-tire stop of the night, but Alan Capers going to come down, get 4 tires. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see him back down pit road maybe one more time in this race, but only time will tell as that number 13 machine comes in and hits his marks. AJ Digby, Tom Johnson, and Tanner Sharp, the others on pit road this time by.
And we did see the 98 of Roberge do what we call fake pitting. He started to go into pit road and ducked out right as the 13 of Capers went in. So maybe he didn't want to pit, but he kind of just got faked out there.
Yeah, AJ Digby with another fantastic pit road time. We've seen that number 14 crew absolutely awesome on pit road. That was a 4-tire stop for that 14 crew. So he will be the first one off pit road and on 4 fresh tires. I'm going to have to keep an eye on Tanner Sharp because he doesn't look like he's getting a fast repair. So I'm wondering if he uses last fast repair, the last that last accident he got involved in, because he is on pit road and that crew is going to work repairing and taping up that 26 machine. And he'll definitely have to be keeping an eye on that pace car because the pace car is coming off of turn number 4, and Tanner Sharp gets the word that the pace car is a few car lengths back, and he gets going just ahead of the pace car. So there is Tanner Sharp with lots of right side damage on that machine. That's going to possibly hinder him. Hopefully he doesn't have a meatball flag. Well, he won't have a meatball flag because he's going. They won't let you go if you have a meatball flag. If you're unfamiliar with what the meatball flag is, it's a big black flag with a big orange circle in the middle, colloquially known as the meatball flag. It means you have too much damage and you have to repair your truck until the officials let you back on track. But looks like that's not the case for the 26 as he's shooting down the front stretch. Maybe I'm surprised he isn't back down pit road to get a little bit more with the damage fixed, but maybe the crew says, hey buddy, you're just going to have to suck it up and get us a finish today.
Yeah, and we were talking about last caution with that 98 of Roberge, how a championship day is more about, for a championship season is more about what you do on your bad days rather than your good ones. Definitely that applies to the 26 of Tanner Sharp. You're a championship co-leader coming into this race, but definitely has not had the race he was looking for. That truck is pretty well used up. That Rebel Racing crew is going to want to throw that one out as soon as they get back to the shop.
Yeah, and this time by, we will be a 3/4 race distance. Chris Roberge coming back from 4 laps down to lead this thing. He's now led 2 laps tonight, both under caution, but like I said, last caution, I think it's a good idea for him to stay out. I like the call, and like I said, I think you only have one more pit stop from here, and then from there, it's a track position game here with 26 laps to go. Of course, that's if they get another yellow. Hopefully they can keep it clean and green here to the end with 25 laps to go now. Pace car lights are off. We'll have a 25-lap shootout here at Gateway Motorsports Park.
Chris Roberge, known pretty well for doing the opposite of what everybody else does on track as far as strategy goes, so I'm not at all surprised he would stay out. Can't argue against it either. He's doing well tonight, got all of his laps back, and he's got a good shot to win this race.
Yeah, we saw him make a mistake early in the race, get that number 98 truck loose, but since that mistake early on, he's kept that truck fairly clean, nothing of his own doing since then, and he's just been looking forward to the first position, which is where he sits now, as that pace car is going to turn onto pit road yet again here tonight, and we'll go back to green with Chris Roberge, Dave Wilson, Kyle Zimmer, Doug McCollum, and AJ Digby, your top 5. Roberge bringing him down at 55 miles an hour. Green flag is flown up in the air. We're back to green flag racing here at Gateway. And let me tell you, that number 98 got a great restart here. He's going to clear Dave Wilson, but Wilson comes roaring back through turn number 1 and 2. Those 2 teammates, a little bit of contact there. Roberge almost lost control as they're now 3 wide for second. Here comes Kyle Zimmer. We've seen him lead most of this race. He's going to get up into the second position. Roberge looks like he might hold on to third here. Doug McCollum, he's side by side with AJ Digby, but Digby looks like he's going to get the spot. And here comes Digby. Roberge under fire from Digby at this point. Maybe those older tires aren't paying off for the 98 as we head off into turn number 1, but Roberge is going to try and hold tough here on the outside. Digby running a little bit lower on the track. Roberge got a great run out of the corners. We have side-by-side battle now for the race lead. Up at the front, Kyle Zimmer looking off the nose of Zimmer's truck. They're side-by-side into the corner, and let me tell you, Zimmer's got the best line for turn 3 and 4, getting down, hitting those rumble strips just a little bit to help that truck turn, and he's going to clear Dave Wilson out of turn number 4. And here comes Roberge. Roberge coming back on his teammate, Dave Wilson. Those number 20 and 98 are 2 teammates up near the front. And my, oh my, I think things are picking up here, Cameron, with only 22 laps to go.
don't count out that 98 or Verge either. He, you know, even though he had a little bit of an issue off turn 2 on the start, he drove it down so far into turn 3 the last time that I think he was in the arch for a little bit, but definitely got a lot of speed in that truck right now. Not the position he wants to be in, but definitely he still has a chance to win this race.
Yeah, and moving up into the 5th position now with the damaged race truck is Tanner Sharp. And Tanner Sharp's got a little bit of buffer between him and AJ Digby, so if anything happens between these front few trucks, he's got that little bit of buffer to make a move and hopefully avoid anything that's happening. As here comes Roberge inside on his teammate. Wilson left the door open just a little bit, and Roberge went for that little crack, and he kind of cracked open the door as Wilson wasn't really giving him very much, but Roberge says, "Thank you very much, I'll take that little bit of space," but he's backed out of it here, and Wilson's going to stay then in the 2nd position. But man, yeah, definitely things getting a little bit racy up near the front. Kyle Zimmer now able to jump away just a little bit. Fastest man on track that last lap was Chris Roberge with a 33.945. Kyle Zimmer running a 34.042. So Chris Roberge, don't count him out. He's just as fast as these race leaders.
Yeah, he's by far the quickest truck in turn 3 and 4 I can see. He's driving it so deep in the corner. It's pretty crazy that he's not wrecking it, but just can't get around David Wilson. David Wilson's running a little bit of a higher line. It's like Roberge loses a little bit of time off turn 2, but Wilson's running a little bit higher in 3 and 4, getting a bit of a better run off, but just, you know, here comes Digby under Roberge. Gonna slide up a little bit, contact. Roberge gets moved out of the groove. But,
yeah. That battle for 3rd is now AJ Digby's position, as Digby and Roberge made a little bit of contact there in 3 and 4. I'm watching Dave Wilson because he caught Kyle Zimmer quite a bit that last time by. Zimmer looked like he got loose coming out of turn number 2 that last time and allowed Wilson the opportunity to catch up quite a bit. So definitely racing, heating up here. I think these drivers are now used to the track. They're used to it getting loose, and Eric Minch might have gotten a little bit loose out of turn number 2. He was well out of the groove down the back stretch, but he's keeping that 01 truck going nice and clean.
We see Tanner Sharp here, yeah. I don't think that truck is performing 100%, but he's still hanging on to the back of this pack, so count him out just yet.
Yeah, as I'm looking at Tanner Sharp, he's averaging about 3/10. Oh, a little bit of contact up there. Digby has lost a ton of ground. That's going to allow Chris Roberge to get back into the 3rd position in that number 98 machine.
Yeah, Digby got in the wall pretty hard, so he's got a bit of damage there. Lost all of his momentum off 2, but that's going to give Burge position number 3 back. Looks like Tanner's starting to catch this train just a little bit, but definitely not as fast as he was early on in this race.
Yeah, that last time by Tanner Sharp running a 34.462.
Oh no!
Oh no! The race leaders both involved. Dave Wilson and Kyle Zimmer both getting involved in a hard accident. And my oh my, that has just turned this race on its head. I don't know if there was a little bit of contact, but it looked like Kyle Zimmer got a little bit loose down there on the inside, and those two just got collected together. Oh look, the 25 is loose on entry into the corner, and just that little touch there from the 20 didn't help. Those two ending up in a heap, and Chris Roberge had nowhere to go but into the side of his teammate Dave Wilson. My oh my, this race has just been crazy.
Yeah, that in the span of about 1 second there, that was the entire top 3 that got collected, and that's going to put AJ Digby probably in the catbird seat now because he got through it and nobody else did. I actually don't know how much damage Chris Roberge did stay out, so actually we haven't caught the pace car yet, so that would explain why.
Yeah, AJ Digby did a fantastic job getting around that wreck. He rode on board with that number 14 machine. Just did an absolute fantastic job. As Chris Roberge, we'll have to see if Roberge has any fast repairs left in the 98. Because if he has some fast repairs, he is leading this race currently. It looks like both Kyle Zimmer Dave Wilson had to take a tow, so has possible championship implications with him having to take a tow here with so few laps left. Yeah, we were just talking how Tanner Sharp was damaged and how that might have championship implications, but now Dave Wilson having to take a tow on pit road. So Christopher Burge will have to see who's got the fast repairs left here with only 14 laps to go. All those drivers hitting their marks. Christopher Burge, they'll go to work on that machine, and I don't see the fast repair yet on that 98. So if there's no fast repairs left for Chris, I'm sure he will be very upset as he had a shot at winning. The first man off pit road will be the 14 of AJ Digby. And ladies and gentlemen, Tanner Sharp was keeping the Joker in his pocket because he did have a fast repair left. And he's got a clean 26 machine here for the final 10 laps or so once we go back to green flag racing. Great job for that number 26 machine, and we'll try and grab a word with Tanner Sharp. Tanner Sharp, this is Peter Short up in the 3-wide TV booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, we've seen a lot of action here tonight, and it looks like your truck has been damaged more than once. We were thinking that maybe you were out of fast repairs, but what's been the strategy tonight? Looks like you had one left here for the final shootout. Was that been your strategy, to keep one in your back pocket till the very end?
There was no strategy here tonight except to try to keep track position, and that fell through. So I've just planned stuff as the race went on. Yeah, speaking of fast repairs, I just used up my last one, and we're gonna hope for the best right here and try to go get them. This has just been a crazy night, chaotic night for the 26 Shriners Hospital Chevrolet Silverado. The truck's not handling to our liking or to what we're expecting here. It's just we feel like we're kind of a wreck fest here tonight, but we're just going to try to get the best finish possible out of this and hopefully a win. We're in position for it, but who knows? You can plan things until they drop the green.
Yeah, it's been really hard to, from up here in the booth, to diagnose how those trucks are handling, because it looks like, off of turn number 4, the truck gets loose. Out of turn number 2, the car seems to push, and then out of turn number 2, it gets pushed loose. And I know we've kind of gone back and forth. Is the truck tight? How is it driving from your perspective?
Everything you just said right there, and it's a little confusing for a driver because one corner, because you can go down and turn 1 and 2, it's completely tight on entrance depending upon how you hit it. And we've been messing with the brake bias all night here tonight, and it's just not balanced on the brakes because we're sliding into the corners. And turn 2 too. One time it could be loose, one time it could be tight. It's just been unbalanced all night.
All right, Tanner. Well, those pace car lights have gone off here. We'll have a 11-lap shootout. We wish you best of luck in that number 26 machine. We hope to talk to you here in just a little bit. And we'll get set to go back to green flag racing. Thank you very much, Tanner.
I hope so too. Thank you, guys.
Well, there you heard it from driver of the number 26, Tanner Sharp. He's currently in the second position. He has to get around AJ Digby. That was going to be my last question for them, is how are you going to get around that number 14 machine? But we'll let him get back to work because we only have 11 laps to go. It's go time here.
Yeah, and that 14 of Digby has kind of been a stickler for Tanner Sharp, but whoever remembers early on in this race, he could not get around him. So definitely going to see good to see if he can do that now.
Yeah, he was kind of stuck behind that number 14 machine for quite some time early in the race, so we'll have to wait and see as the pace car dives down to pit road. And we'll get set to go back to green with 11 laps to go in this one. Green flag waved in the air. Tanner Sharp got a great restart to the outside of AJ Digby. In fact, Tanner Sharp's going to lead the way down into turn number 1. He's going to set sail up into that high groove in turn number 1, but he's going to drag it all the way back down to the bottom. Give the race lead to Tanner Sharp. He's only led 4 laps tonight, but he's out front with only 11 laps to go.
Yeah, and definitely, I think with his main competition in the 25 of Zimmer and the 20 of Wilson a few laps down, I think he's going to be in the catbird seat for the rest of this race. We see Wilson going high in 3 and 4, but no issue there. But I think Sharp is definitely going to try to set sail.
Yeah, and Alan Capers is in the 3rd position in that number 13 machine. He's looking to get around AJ Digby as Digby kind of opened the door just a little bit coming out of turn number 2. But Digby gets a great run down the back stretch. Fourth position is Kyle Zimmer in the 25. He's got a clean number 25 truck, no damage on that machine. He's just a little bit behind Alan Capers, so he's definitely going to be looking forward. We've seen that 25 truck really fast here tonight. Dave Wilson just behind him on track, but Dave is a couple laps down. Tough luck for him. He's 2 laps down after having to take a tow under that last yellow flag. As Alan Capers way out of the groove in turn number 1 and 2. That's going to let Kyle Zimmer get by. Kyle Zimmer now in the 3rd position. We'll have to see if he can run down the top 2.
Yeah, he's definitely going to want to catch that 14 of Digby and the 26 of Sharp, his teammate. It looks like Digby has not gone away. He has not fallen off with the back of that 26. So we'll see if he can make a move here in these closing laps.
8 laps to go here at Gateway Speedway. Tanner Sharp leading the way. AJ Digby hot on his tail. Kyle Zimmer just about a second, 1 1/4 seconds off the race lead. And we'll have to see how things go. AJ Digby was the fastest truck on the raceway that last time by about 4/100ths of a second. Here comes Digby diving hard on the brakes. A little bit of contact. He's trying to get that 26 truck loose. But now he's looking to the outside. My goodness, this battle for the race lead.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't know if
and we
have
have
a caution on track.
Eric Minch on the front stretch has gone around in that number 01 Toyota Tundra. Not sure what happened there. There you see on the replay, looks like he just got a little bit too hard on the gas, possibly a little bit, spun that 01 machine right around. No harm, no foul. But that's going to set up for a very, very short restart, excuse me. And AJ Digby was so close to passing him. But
Yeah.
Digby is still in second.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Looks like the 26 of Sharp just did not get to the gas at all, and 14 was really driving through him, but he didn't drive into the corner any harder than he had been before. So I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah, Digby really closed up on that 26 there, under braking into turns 3 and 4. Had a great run through the corner, and a little bit of contact to loosen up the back end of that 26 truck. As I don't expect anyone to come down pit road here. A little bit of fake pitting there as Tanner Sharp tried to see if he could drag AJ Digby down pit road, but Digby thought better of it. Tom Johnson is a man who is coming down pit road. I don't blame him. He's down into the 6th place truck of Tom Johnson, the 7th place truck of Eric Minch. Those are your last 2 trucks on the lead lap. Billy Wise is the first truck 1 lap down. We'll have to wait and see if they wave him around for the lucky dog. But yeah, it's a good idea for Tom Johnson and Eric Minch. You are the last 2 trucks on the lead lap anyway, so you might as well get some fresh tires. As Billy Wise running on board, he gets around that pace car and he'll be back on the lead lap for what I think might be a 2-lap shootout. Cameron, I'm not 100% sure, but I think we'll get back to green here at Gateway Motorsports Park for a very exciting finish. I'll see if we can drag AJ Digby up into the 3-wide TV booth. AJ Digby, this is Peter Short up here in the 3-wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, you were inches away from completing that pass when the yellow flag was waved. I think you're gonna go back green here, hopefully. If you do go back green, what's your plan to get around the 26?
He is super fast, so just a little bit of prayer and a little bit of just holding on, hoping that the tires can hold it on. I got the outside line, which I feel a little bit better about, but you never know. I was looking forward to the green flag battle there to the end, but you never know. You just gotta drive it in and hope it sticks sometimes.
Yeah, we've heard from a couple of drivers here tonight that this truck is really difficult to drive. It's a really difficult track, but that high line in 1 and 2 seems to be working right now. It seems like it's a little bit more stable off the corner, but you can get too high. How far do you drive it in turn 1 and 2?
You drive it in almost to where you can't see that green pit road exit cone on the inside, and that's about where you brake. So you're braking pretty hard, pretty late, and then you're trying to keep your right side tire inside of that outside groove line right there. And if that right side tire flips up over top, that's where you're in a little bit of a dicey position. So just trying to keep all 4 tires back down in that groove, and if you can, then you can usually get a decent runoff. So, but anything could happen here. It's been a great race with these guys so far, and Tanner's a really fast driver, so we'll see what happens.
All right, well, AJ Digby, we'll let you get back to the job at hand. Already getting one win earlier this year. We'll hope to see if you can bring home your second win of the season here tonight. Thanks for stopping by with us.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that was AJ Digby, driver of the number 14 machine, currently running in the second position on the track, right behind the 26th Sharp. Of course, Tanner has already got 3 wins this season. He's only surpassed in that number by Dave Wilson, who's a couple laps down at this point. But Dave has 4 wins to Tanner's 3, so I know that Tanner is going to be looking for that as well to see if he can equal Dave Wilson's number, as we will get a green-white checker here at Gateway Motorsports Park. So I'm really glad we're getting set to go back to green here, Cameron, because sometimes when you got a caution really late in the going, iRacing doesn't like to take it back to green.
Yeah, we heard Digby say he was a lot more comfortable on that outside line, and that's exactly where he's going to restart. So I personally think it's been the stronger line tonight if they can get a start with the leader. But, you know, it's definitely going to be awesome to see how this line or this restart goes, because this will be the last restart we have, regardless of what else happens.
Yeah, we've seen Tanner Sharp make those moves on the high line in turns 1 and 2. So I know AJ Digby's going to try and replicate that as we're headed now through turn number 3. All these drivers, I'm sure their heart rate is going up here for the last 2 laps at Gateway Motorsports Park. And the rough RT12 pace car turns down pit road for the final time tonight. Looks at Digby. He's got a kind of a jump over Tanner Sharp. The green flag finally comes out, and Digby hard on the gas. He's getting bumped from Alan Capers in the 13. They're going to sail it off into turn number 1. Here, look at Sharp with a great leap on the brakes, and he's going to slide up in front of Digby. They're going to, oh, look at this contact for the race lead. I don't think Tanner Sharp was, I don't think you could put a piece of paper between the 26 and the 14. They were so close. Digby sails it into turn number 3 and 4. There's a caution back behind. We'll have to see who was ahead at the time. There's Kyle Zimmer and Doug McCollum in the 33. Both of those trucks around. It looks like Tanner Sharp was ahead at the moment of caution. And oh, what an impact, Cameron. The 25 going up and over. We're here on the white flag lap.
Yeah, we've seen that quite a bit tonight. Just hard impacts. This track definitely not forgiving in the least. Just a little bit loose and, you know, ran out of room. That's kind of what's happened tonight. But it looks like Tanner Sharp's going to be our race winner just by inches.
Yeah, you rode on board on the gyro, Cam, as the number 25 flipped upside down. But it looks like Tanner Sharp, the teammate of Kyle Zimmer, will be getting the checkered flag here tonight. Oh boy, what a race. It's been an up-down race for Tanner Sharp. I really thought that he was out of fast repairs, but he left one for the end, and he made it count. Here comes the 26. Tanner Sharp gets win number 4 in the MS4 Truck Series SimPossible Racing League event. Oh boy. You know, like we said earlier on, Cameron, he was looking to bounce back from that losing the points lead last week at Iowa Speedway, and he does so and gets that lead back in prime fashion here tonight.
Yep, one Rebel truck goes to victory lane while the other one goes back to the garage on a rollback. Very hard hit for his teammate of Kyle Zimmer. Shame to end his race that way. He was strong all night, but you know, Tanner, we were saying that good championship seasons are made by the races where you don't have necessarily the best night, and definitely we saw that tonight here. Tanner Sharp had everything but a good night, but, you know, the last lap's all that matters, and he made it count with a win.
Yeah, absolutely. Tanner Sharp just showing that he knows how to win these races, and it was a fantastic restart there to get that lead towards the end in that 26 truck. And now he gets to burn him down here on the front stretch with some nice, classy donuts. Donuts always taste good in St. Louis. As he's just gonna miss the wall there. It's like we've been saying, it's a tight front stretch, so it's kind of hard to get that truck into a nice donut. He's gonna do so right across the start-finish line.
Yep, giving these fans in Madison, Illinois, quite the show tonight.
Get to go home with the smell of burnt rubber in your clothes. That's always a fun experience with all that smoke wafting up into the crowd. Of course, every single NASCAR race that I've been to get to go home smelling like smoke, so that's always nice and fun. As Tanner Sharp now works his way backwards on the track. We'll catch up with you in a moment for some interviews with your top finishers. And, well, you know, I've been told that some of these drivers are already jumping out of their race trucks. I'm sure they're glad to be out of their race trucks after tonight's race. As we'll try and get Alan Capers, the third place finisher.
Hey there.
Alan Capers, third place finisher tonight, man. It looked like a crazy race from up here in the booth. Tell us a little bit about your knife finishing in the third position.
But it was eventful. Never a boring moment out there tonight. That thing was an ice skating rink.
Yeah, we saw quite a few trucks smoking, and we wondered if maybe it was some of that oil that they laid down. It looked like the truck was quite a handful. Was the truck to your liking, or did you struggle with it as well?
No, it was a brick with wheels.
Yeah, it definitely looked that way. It looked like it was tight in 1 and tight in 2, and then looks like it was loose off of 4, so definitely kind of...
Yeah, it was loose and tight at the same time. How do you fix that?
Yeah, definitely, you know, I was telling Cameron a little bit earlier that I've never really enjoyed racing here at Gateway Motorsports Park because the track is so difficult, and it's always a compromise on the setup, and I think we saw that here tonight. Cameron, I'm sure you have questions for Alan, so take it away.
Yeah, you said the track was an ice skating rink. We were kind of saying the same thing up here tonight, but really, with the way the race went with the cautions and everything, how did that affect your strategy throughout the race?
Strategy went out the window.
Yeah, that's what we heard from a couple drivers that said that, strategy means a lot until the green flag flies. So, after that, it's kind of goes out the window. But
yeah, honestly, halfway through the race, I had no idea what my race strategy was.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, coming down to that last restart, though, you were in position to, maybe make a move if the leaders got in trouble, and so was that on your mind as you?
Absolutely. I saw Tanner over the radio talking about I was going to capitalize. Man. I saw him get loose in 4, and that yellow came out. I was, man, too close. But the next level racing truck, man. Got the new cockpit today, and it's brutal.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
yeah.
Wes, see you in the crowd, man. Squad, appreciate you guys broadcasting this.
Absolutely, man, and we do see that new cockpit has worked out a bit, finishing position number 3. So good job tonight, and he's already given us his shout outs. So thank you for taking the time to talk with us, and I do have one final question for you.
Yes, sir.
Next week we go to Chicago Motor Speedway, or Chicagoland, my bad. So,
we're
quite a different track. Quite a different track than what we went tonight. What's your outlook on that race?
We're gonna put on a hell of a show. So we need. That's it. We're gonna put on a hell of a show.
Short, sweet, and to the point. I like it, man. All right, hell of a show. Definitely the answer we want to hear on 3Y TV. But thank you so much for talking to us. So we appreciate it. Good job on finishing in 3rd tonight, and good luck next week.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, I've caught up with our second place finisher, AJ Digby. All right, we talked to you before the race or before the restart, and literal inches was the finish of that race. I mean, came so close. Is there anything you're wishing you did differently on that restart?
Nothing I did differently. Just wish it could have stayed green even just a little bit longer, or even just staying green to the finish line. I mean, you never know because Tanner had a really fast car, a really fast truck. But even if it would have stayed green all the way to the finish for another lap, it would have been tight there too. I think I had the run, but I mean, that's racing. Sometimes things happen that you can't control, and that's probably the third time of the night that I had to move for the lead or for position, and caution came out with inches away, but that's racing. So I will always walk away happy with second. Obviously, you always want the win, but there was nothing more that was in my control that could have been done, I felt like.
Yeah, such a crazy race tonight. So many incidents on track, and just we talked to a couple drivers that said the strategy went out the window. Did you have a set strategy for this race? And if so, how did that change with the way that it played out?
I didn't entirely know what was going to happen with this race. In practice, there were people that were loose every now and then, and so I was partly thinking this might be a little bit of a caution fest, but I really didn't have much of a strategy. I've never raced at Gateway. I've only ever watched one race IndyCar at Gateway. So I had really not a big clue how the track was going to drive until practice started, and so my plan was just to learn throughout the night, see what other people were doing, see how their line was going, and I truly think I improved throughout the night. Towards the end, I felt like I was the fastest car out there, and obviously only qualified, I think, 4th or 5th or something, and that's where I felt most of the race was like 5th, but towards the end I felt like I had one of the fastest cars, if not the fastest car out there, and so I improved, and I only used one fast repair for a minor front end damage, so staying clean was definitely a big part of it. I didn't really get caught up in anything. I didn't have to starve myself on fast repairs, and I was able to just keep myself clean, keep the tires clean, and keep going forward, and eventually got second,
Yeah, we did talk to some drivers last week after Iowa where they said that they weren't really knowing what was going to happen at Gateway because nobody had experience on it. Like, actually, a couple had not even bought the track yet. So, were you in that same boat where you just didn't have experience on the track, or what did you do?
Yeah, I had bought the track before the season, knowing that it was a part of the series, and so, but I had never driven a single lap on it. Usually, I at least get some sort of testing before, but up until that hour practice started, I hadn't had a single lap. So I was just trying to do the best I could and learn as much as I could over the course of the race, and luckily I was able to do that and end up with what I felt like was one of the fastest cars, and I can walk away very happy with my race result. I was telling my chief spotter, Brian Newton, that sometimes I just try to guarantee top 5. I try to guarantee a solid race, and then every now and then you get a chance to win it, and you really hope that you can. But that's how racing goes.
All right, man. My final question to you is: next week we go up north a little bit to Chicagoland. Quite a different track than what we had tonight, but what's your outlook on that race?
Chicagoland, I'm in pretty much the same boat as this. Never ran a single lap there, but I'm hoping to actually get a couple little bit of testing throughout the week, unlike this race. But I'm excited. I like that like short track-ish feel. I like those type of races, so I feel like I excel in these type of tracks. So I'm really excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I always look forward to racing with these guys.
All right, man. Sounds good. Congrats on finishing second tonight. We know you got some shout-outs for us. Let's go ahead and throw them out.
Yeah, big thank you to my crew chief / spotter, Brian Newton. He actually didn't have the track, so he was more of just a crew chief support guy tonight. But it was definitely helped, definitely meant a lot. Thanks to my family who was watching me today, as well as you guys for putting on a great broadcast. I can't wait to watch it later. And thanks to Jeff for the league. It's awesome every week.
All right. Well, that was AJ Digby, your runner-up tonight, and put on a fine performance. I do think Peter Short has caught up with our winner, Tanner Sharp. All right, well, all right. Peter has had some issues, so Tanner Sharp, race winner, you got a copy.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, you were able to get the win tonight, but I can't say that you had the best race. You had all sorts of bad luck and issues on track, and it was a pretty disastrous race, except for the win. Tell us what happened.
Oh man, I'm just exhausted, physically and mentally. First 50 laps of the race was just a complete disaster for us. We were hitting everybody on track, but the pace car and the wall, and we were sliding everywhere, and we were playing with the brake bias all night, and the ever so slightly into the brakes can cause the truck to get really loose on entrance, getting loose and tight on exit. A lot of unpredictable stuff with this truck here tonight. I don't know, very frustrating night, but I'm glad we came out with the win for sure, man. I don't know. I was like, all right, I need to stay focused here and never give up, and I have a Bible verse that I pick out every race, and you just look at that, and it's pretty inspirational on what you can do with it. So I don't know if that thing has any power or what, but man, it got us to victory lane tonight for sure. So I apologize to everybody that I got into. Sure.
Yeah, it was quite the race. It must have been a full moon or whatever. But we were talking to everybody that said that strategy went out the window, and we know you said that too. That the strategy, once the green flag flies, it doesn't matter anymore. Definitely with the way that race went. But we were also talking. Championship seasons are more what you do on bad days rather than good days, and I think we saw you make a statement here tonight. Not the best race, but you ended up coming out with the win.
Yeah, for sure. We did not have the best race, so by far it was not the best race for us. And I think the class of the field was the 25 and the 20, in my opinion, especially that 20 car. That 20 car was just fast, no matter what line he took on entrance or exit. AJ had a pretty good car too, man. He was fighting really hard with us, and that's just how racing is. Yeah, it's good points night for us for sure after missing last week at Iowa.
Yeah, absolutely. We know you weren't too happy about missing that race, but I think you more than made up for it tonight with the win. It was awesome watching you come to the field like you did. But we do go up I-55. I do believe that's the interstate, but we do go to Chicagoland next week. I've seen you win a race there, so I probably don't need to win or ask this question, but what is your outlook on that race?
Go out and win. Yeah, just go out and win. Try to go win Chicagoland. I love that track. I haven't been to that track in a couple of years now to go for a NASCAR race. I was going when the first started going there, the Chase, back in 2011, and I went every year till 2015. So I kind of know the track in real life, and I know the track on iRacing, so I'm really looking forward to that. We're going to bring our Shriners Hospital for Children paint scheme, Shriners Hospital for Children of Chicago, so that's going to be pretty cool to support them guys. That's where I had my past surgeries there, so it should be a fun, better week next week for sure. Finally just got Gateway out of the way.
Out of the way for sure, and you come home with the win. Congrats. That was a hell of a performance tonight, so really, really awesome to see you come back like you did. You have any shout-outs for us?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, thanks to the league organizer, Jeff Schmidt, for putting on the SimPossible Racing League. I don't know if that man knows how much opportunity he's given to so many people here, man, and it's probably just going to keep on coming. Everybody if you're scared of trying iRacing, come race with us, man. But and thanks to you guys, Free Wide TV, for the broadcast. Sponsors, obviously, Shriners Hospital for Children, Mountain Dew. Everybody who makes everything this possible. Can't name everybody off the top of my head right now, but oh yeah, one more thing. Thanks to everybody. I got into that earlier chat on the here in TeamSpeak. I was so frustrated with myself here tonight. I went in there, and man, they can brighten your smile up within a lap. I swear, these drivers out here are just awesome. I mean, they're probably the best people I've ever hung on with on iRacing, in my opinion. They are such respectful guys. No matter if you want to beat and bang with them out there on the racetrack, there's a lot of laughs. So, thank you guys.
All right, well, that's your winner tonight, Tanner Sharp. Gonna come home with the big fat W. Gonna be good for his points standings. He was the co-leader of the championship before tonight, and that's definitely going to change in his favor afterwards. I do believe Peter Short has caught up with the league organizer and owner Jeff Schmidt.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cameron. I got swept away by a tornado, and
I hate when that happens.
I have no idea what happened, but being in Tornado Alley, it happens sometimes. I'm down here with Jeff Schmidt. Jeff, tonight was a pretty eventful race, and we haven't seen many races like this in SimPossible this season, but I'm sure everyone's glad to be behind, have Gateway behind them. What was your take from today's race, and what are you expecting next week at Chicagoland?
Yeah, it was definitely a wild one. There was no lack of excitement out there at all, whether it was the beating and banging, the spinning, or the racing. I mean, it was just it was wild. Kind of expected that from Gateway. I didn't think it would be so slick under braking. A lot of the guys getting into the brakes, sometimes not even too late, just a little too hard. It just spins that rear end around on you, and once it does, it's super hard to save here. So a lot of guys that did spin and save it, awesome on their part. There was a lap where I think there were 4 or 5 trucks sideways at the same time, and they all gathered it up to back together. So that was pretty amazing to see. And the racing, it was great. I had no idea who was going to pull off the win here, to be honest. Even up right to the last lap, it was a nail biter. Next week, Chicago should see a little bit different kind of style of racing, longer green flags. I do expect the side-by-side and the competition to be fierce, like always there in Chicago, and I think it's going to produce some great racing next week.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, all those people getting completely sideways and saving, it was great to see that. And the racing we did get to see was absolutely awesome. Great side-by-side stuff. And, I'm looking forward to Chicagoland. Chicagoland is one of my favorite tracks. I think it always puts on a great show, gives some great racing, and I'm sure it will be quite a dandy here on 3 Wide TV. Jeff, there's a lot going on with the league. We got a GoFundMe going on right now. How about you tell us about that GoFundMe and the cause and who we're trying to help and everything that goes along with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Driver with us, Chris Roberge, his wife, who actually has a disability as well, her bicycle was stolen, and that was her. It was a prized possession of hers and her main means of transportation as well. Almost most importantly, that was a way for her to get from point A to point B, and it was a very nice bike that they had saved up for a long time. It was not cheap by any means, so we're trying to raise the money for them to hopefully raise enough to get the same bike to replace it. If not, then we'll try to figure something out. But every dollar helps, and yeah, we went ahead and set up a GoFundMe for them to try to get that bike replaced, because that's just not fair that it was stolen like that. And on the GoFundMe, if you go look at it, there's a link to the actual news article about that happening in his local hometown there. And we got that up on our Facebook page. And let's see, I don't know if it's going to be in the YouTube link or not, but I know it was in YouTube link at one point. And but otherwise, if anyone has any questions of how to get to that GoFundMe, you can message me, Jeff Schmidt, on Facebook, or go to the SimPossible Racing League on Facebook. Message me to get the link to that if you're interested in that, or just look at our Facebook page; it's on there. As well as if you're a disabled driver and you're watching this, come race with us. If you know someone that has a disability that wants to join us, tell them to come race with us. We have a lot of fun. The guys. It just shows how good everyone gets along to have a race like tonight and for no one to fight with each other. I mean, I know there's a lot of other leagues out there that, with what happened and what went down tonight, I mean, some people would be putting the boxing gloves on. So, just an awesome group of guys. Everyone gets along. With the competition as fierce as it is and everyone getting along as good as they do, it's something truly amazing that I've never experienced on iRacing before, and I wasn't even sure was possible. So it's been a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. We thoroughly enjoy being here every week to commentate it, because they are such a great group of people. It's great getting to know some of the people here in this league and getting to see some of the camaraderie between some of these drivers and the people who help us out off the track as well, helping to make this league such a good and enjoyable league for these drivers. I'm sure you got some shout outs, Jeff, to give us for the end of tonight's race.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 Wide TV, Carlos, Peter, Justin, Cameron. I know Justin hasn't been with us for a while, but he did broadcast us quite a bit from the beginning, so I like to give his name out there too. You guys have been amazing. Your broadcasts are awesome, top notch. I couldn't recommend you guys more for anyone that's looking for a broadcast. Hit up 3 Wide TV. They do an amazing job. Super easy to work with, very personable. Yeah, just can't say enough about you guys. You do an awesome job every single week. No complaints whatsoever. And I know the drivers surely appreciate you doing it too. Everyone loves watching these things after the race. MS Forward, the gym in Omaha, Nebraska. Gym dedicated and designed for disabled individuals to work out and rehab. Their website is msforward.org. Check them out. They also have a Facebook page, MS Forward. On Facebook, it's MS, then Forward, one word. Check them out. Some really awesome stuff that they have going on. They're our series sponsor. It's the MS Forward Truck Series, so they are our biggest sponsor that we have, and without them, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the stuff that we do. So shout out to Daryl and MS Forward for being part of this and helping us out, and I can only hope that they understand how much we appreciate that. The drivers, any spotters that come out to spot for them, their family, friends, the fans, anyone that watches the YouTube videos, thank you very much. God bless you all. That's about it. Everyone have a great night, and yeah, check us out. If anyone hears of or knows of anyone, or you are a disabled iRacer, send them to us. We'd like to fill the field out a little more and help out where we can with as many drivers as we can.
Absolutely, Jeff. Thank you for those kind words. It's an honor for us to be here week in and week out and broadcast for you guys, because you guys, it's a great league and you guys put on such a great show. Well, I think that just about wraps it up. Cameron, next week, Chicagoland Speedway. It's going to be absolutely super duper exciting, and I'm really thoroughly looking forward to it.
Yeah, like you said, one of my favorites too. I love the track. It's really old, bumpy, worn out surface, and we know that those typically tend to put on some of the best racing.
Next week we'll change from this egg-shaped oval to an egg-shaped 1.5 mile. Not quite egg-shaped. It's, if you turn it on its side, it's egg-shaped, but because it doesn't even really have a backstretch. It's almost a continuous corner all the way down the back, and I'm sure those drivers will be getting to enjoy a little bit higher speed there at Chicagoland Speedway. But we'll see you there this time next week here on 3 Wide TV. We hope you join us then for the next round in the MS Forward Truck Series here for the SimPossible Racing League. For me, Peter Short, Cameron Rich, Carlos Acosta, we thank you for tuning in to 3 Wide TV here on YouTube, and hope to see you then. Thank you, guys.